State regime media known as Fox is losing it as their dear leader is getting punched in the face by California Governor Gavin Newsom, and we, the people who are fighting back, Fox can't handle it. Watch what goes down as Sean Hannity whines that California Governor Gavin Newsom is bullying Donald Trump. Here, play this clip.
I have a point. Results matter. A new performative, confrontational style. Maybe it wins you points with the loony radical base in your party, but America is not going to vote for that record.
And then you have Hannity continue to talk about how Newsom bullies Donald Trump. Watch this.
He just spends, the last several weeks bashing President Trump over the Texas redistricting fight while threatening to gerrymander his own state even more. Not that there's much left to gerrymander. Of course, this very public political battle doesn't help the people of California at all. It doesn't even help the Democratic Party. Helps nobody. It hurts Gavin Newsom. It's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for him.
Yeah, and again, somehow this is real. Watch this. As Sean Hannity says, he's got this social media team and they're being so mean. Why are they being so mean to Donald? Here, play this clip.
Now, currently, he and a social media team, they are busy trying to mock President Trump on X by posting messages in all caps. He's trying to pretend to be Donald Trump. Gavin is also attacking Fox News hosts. He's trying to bait conservatives into social media fights. He's actually referred to our own Tommy Laren's account as Yelp for toilets. Gee, very clever and funny. She'll join us in a moment to respond.
And by the way, this was like the entire day yesterday on Fox. That's how you know you're hitting the mark, California Governor Gavin Newsom, when Fox is just rolling this out because they realize, holy crap, we got to brainwash our audience into going, Newsom bad, because he's destroying us. Then you had Tommy Laren. She's on Fox. Watch what she says. Here, play this clip.
Well, first of all, Sean, I would like to give a little wave to Gavin because he's watching. He is obsessed with Fox News. I don't blame him. We have a great network. But he watches everything that we do when he's, of course, not on X. But he has turned his hand gestures into Twitter fingers to distract from the dismal failure of his state of California. And Sean, he often likes to tout that California is the fourth largest economy in the world. We don't want to take anything away from California and all of its resources, its great academic institutions. Of course, it's got Hollywood, it's got Silicon Valley, it's got farming, agriculture. It's a great, wonderful state. It is the fourth largest economy in the world, despite Governor Gavin Newsom, not because of him. He's done everything to strangle that state. But now he wants to run for president. He wanted to run before. Joe Biden passed over him for Kamala Harris. So now he's gearing up. He is landing into new personas on a weekly basis. Oh, you got to bring in Miss Alternative Facts, Kellyanne Conway. Here's what she had to say. Here, play this clip.
And look at Gavin Newsom. He tried to do this. Was it a radio show, a podcast, whatever he tried to do? Now he's busy trolling on social media, and it's cringe. It's falling flat. I'm sure they'll come after me now. Who cares? Because Donald Trump is one of one. Only he can do what he's done with social media, with podcasts, in the way he's done it. 900 rallies and counting. The thing that he does that we all miss and don't talk enough about is he just works harder than everyone else.
Now, folks, this was all yesterday. Every segment on Fox was basically this, other than when they had Just Dance Vance, J.D. Vance. By the way, that's California Governor Newsom's nickname for him. Just Dance Vance. And here is Laren saying, look, it's just like Newsom wants to be a Trump Jr. so badly. What? Here, play this clip.
He had a podcast with Marshawn Lynch trying to do culture and sports. Now he's trying to be Trump Jr. We don't know what we're going to get from this man, but it's not going to be authentic. He plays a role. He plays a part. Hollywood's in his backyard. Go there, be an influencer, do an OnlyFans, whatever you want to do, Gavin, but stop leading your state into the ground. That is what the people of your state are asking from you, not another podcast.
And I think what California Governor Gavin Newsom is doing so perfectly is he's just shining a light on these MAGAs and he's mocking Trump's style. And the MAGAs can't handle it. They can't handle it at all. And then, by the way, Jesse Waters brings on Ron DeSantis, the fascist governor of Florida, who makes jokes about, I just want to let everybody know We're not going to be deporting you just because you're a Georgia fan. We don't put you in concentration camps just because you're a Georgia fan. That's only for the illegals. I mean, you sound like a literal freaking Nazi. Well, because you are. Here, play this clip.
We have alligator Alcatraz in southern Florida. This will be in northeastern Florida. And I just want to dispel any rumors. We are not putting any unruly Georgia fans at the Florida-Georgia game in our deportation deal. That's not true. People are saying it online. Totally not true. It's for the processing and deportation of illegal aliens.
And speaking of which, Russian TV literally using the J.D. Vance interview verbatim. Like Russian state regime media, all they need to do is take Fox and just play it. That's what they did. Take a look at, this is what Russian TV posts. J.D. Vance describes the real Vladimir Putin. Again, as someone who loves the United States of America, someone who's like, Putin's the bad guy, Russia's the bad guy. Like when I watch what's going on Fox and what's happened to the Republican Party, and that there's millions of Americans who are like, maybe Putin's the good guy. I'm like, what the hell is actually wrong with you people? Here, watch J.D. Vance go, look, I've never actually met Putin before, but when I've spoken to him, he's a great man. Very, very calm, very, very nice person. What the hell is going on here? Here, play this clip.
What was he like, just one-on-one?
So I've actually never met Putin. The president did that meeting. I've talked to him on the phone a number of times. You know, it's interesting. He's more soft-spoken than you would necessarily expect. You know, the American media has a particular image of him. He's soft-spoken in a certain way. He's very deliberate. He's very careful. And I think fundamentally, he's a person who looks out for the interests as he sees it of Russia. And I think one of the reasons he respects the president of the United States is because he knows the president looks out for the interests of the American people. And while they often disagree about issues, and obviously the president has been very critical of Vladimir Putin, the president's also willing to work with anybody if he thinks it's going to accomplish an important goal for America. And we all agree an important goal is to stop the killing.
As this one account says, Just Dance Vance speaks more kindly about a man who launched a war of terror that has killed hundreds of thousands of people, including thousands of civilians, than he would speak of any elected Democrat in the United States. It's so true. I think if you were to ask these MAGA Republicans, would you rather have Putin be in charge or Gavin Newsom? I think these MAGA Republicans would be, I don't know. I think Newsom's winning them over right now. But certainly if you asked them Adam Schiff or Putin, they would 100% say Putin. The Putin who literally wants to kill them versus Adam Schiff, who's a constitutional law scholar and former federal prosecutor. Anyway, J.D. Vance then lies and says, we've noticed that home costs are going down right now because we've kicked the illegal aliens off the street. Okay, before I play this clip, I just got to fact check it. Home prices are going up. Housing is not affordable, Just Dance Vance. And you sending migrants to concentration camps isn't lowering the cost of homes. They're just making this up. Here, play this clip.
They were actually defending the rights of illegal immigrants to come into our country, to vote in our elections, to collect Social Security and Medicaid that ought by right go to American citizens, to say nothing of housing. This is actually the biggest driver of housing costs in some of these big blue cities, is that they've flooded the zone with illegal immigrants. As we've kicked illegal aliens out of our country, you actually see housing costs start to level off. So fundamentally, the difference between Republicans and Democrats is we care about American citizens. They actually don't like American citizens and want to replace them with low-wage foreigners. It's a very stark difference. And I think the American people are going to continue to reward us because of it.
All right, let's talk some facts here. 4 companies control over 80% of the U.S. meat industry. Not good. And China now controls the largest portion of U.S. pork. Not good. These companies are using really awful tactics, in my opinion, to crush American family farms. And with the additives they're putting into our food, Americans are stuck with sketchy meat not made in America, truly. So what can we do about this? Let me tell you about a company that's coming up swinging on behalf of the American family farms and your family's food security. They're called Moink. You know we love Moink. Moink here at the MeidasTouch Network. The business is simple. Moink's meat comes from animals raised outdoors, where a pig is free to be a pig. Their farmers are given an honest day's pay for an honest day's work, and they deliver meat straight to your doorstep at prices you can actually afford. Born, raised, and harvested right here in the United States of America. Moink is helping save rural America, which y'all know we need more than ever right now. I love Moink, especially their bacon, and I know you will too. Join the Moink movement today. Support American family farms and join the Moink movement today at moinkbox.com/MeidasTouch right now and get free bacon for a year. That's 1 year of the best bacon you'll ever taste, but for a limited time. It's spelled MOINK box.com/MeidasTouch. That's moinkbox.com/MeidasTouch. Join the movement. Now, this was a very revealing moment in Just Dance Vance's interview where he says, look, the Russians want certain pieces of territory, most of which they've occupied, some of which they haven't. Listen to this part. The some of which they haven't is that Russia wants all of Donbass and they want Zaporizhzhia. These are areas that are still controlled by Ukraine, heavily fortified areas. It would take Russia years and years and years and probably 1 million to 2 million more casualties to take this land at the current pace, even if America abdicates and capitulates as it already has. So Putin just wants it to be delivered to him by Donald Trump. That's what's taking place here. Here, play this clip.
It's a good question. I think that if you go through the bureaucratic process, then the answer is yes. But I think the president's preference and my preference would be, let's have them meet regardless. You don't have to figure out every issue. And sometimes leaders sitting down face to face can break the logjam that their teams don't necessarily have the ability to do. There really are two big questions lingering out there. And in some ways it's very simple, but in some ways it's very complicated. Number one is Ukraine wants to know that it's not going to get invaded again by Russia. It wants to know that it's got territorial integrity long into the future. The Russians want certain pieces of territory, most of which they've occupied, but some of which they haven't. So that is really where the meat of the negotiation is. The Ukrainians want security guarantees. The Russians want a certain amount of territory. Again, we finally got the details. We're working on them, but we haven't figured everything out. And I don't think that we should force, we shouldn't say that they can't sit down until you figured out every little detail. Sometimes them sitting down is what facilitates figuring out those details.
And I just want to be very clear, everybody, as well. Think about what was being discussed as part of the deal, why there was this meeting with Putin and the European leaders separately, right? Ceasefire? No, there was no ceasefire ever obtained. Security guarantees within Ukraine. No, Putin's never agreed to any security guarantees. A trilateral meeting between Trump, Putin, and Zelensky. Putin's never agreed to that. So it's all false. It's all bullshit. It's all messed up. It's all lies. Then you saw how Just Dance Vance talked about Putin. Here's how he talks about Zelensky walking into the Oval Office. Play this clip.
Take us into the room, because we're all dying to know that.
Well, I think when President Zelensky walked into the Oval Office, I was chatting with him, with the president, with some of the senior Ukrainian delegation. I said, Mr. President, so long as you behave, I won't say anything. And he just chuckled a little bit. It was a good little icebreaker.
Yeah, and then in the next Nazi-like segment on Fox, you have the Department of Homeland Security Secretary and spokesperson, Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin and Jesse Waters. They start joking about how they're painting some of the border wall black so that it could get extra hot in the summer and burn to death the migrants who touch it. Here, play this clip.
Well, absolutely. Secretary Noem was just down in El Paso visiting the border, which we've had 0 crossings the last 2 months, and she's painting that border wall black, especially in these high traffic areas, which under President Trump, really there are no high traffic places, but it not only prevents rust, that black paint, but it also is, which increases durability and longevity of that wall, but also it makes it incredibly hot to the touch. So no illegal alien, no drug mule, no criminal, or no cartel member is going to try and climb that border wall.
So how hot is it? Is it like when I boil water to make my kids mac and cheese hot?
I think that's pretty comparable, especially in those very hot summer months. But like I said, it's going to be that longevity and that durability as well. So we're making sure we're using U.S. taxpayer dollars well, and they're going far.
Then the next segment, Jesse Waters talks about how Democrats need their own daddy, that they have Daddy Trump and Democrats need their own daddy. Here, play this clip right here.
They ran 2 moms and a grandpa, and they need to run a daddy. The problem is there's no dads in the party. And what, Jessica? In order to have masculine policies, you need to live your life as a man. You need to live a life of action, and you have to live it outdoors. And the first step is having your own compound. Every presidential candidate or president needs their home base, right? Trump had Trump Tower. He's got his golf courses. He's got the White House now. You call people in, you hold court, you control everything. That's what they need. Now, I don't know why they don't have that. Maybe they're ashamed of it. Gavin Newsom has a vineyard. Why doesn't he bring in the press to his vineyard and look beautiful outside with all the grapes? That's how you do it. Americans love to drink wine. Newsflash, Newsom, go to the vineyard, hold a press conference, and act like you're a man of the people. Don't be ashamed of it. Trump does press conferences in front of billion-dollar buildings with his name on it. Kenny Bunkport, does that ring a bell? How about the Bush Ranch? How about the Reagan Ranch? You do that, you show the American people you know how to work. And then you show them you're a man of leisure.
More whining by J.D. Vance, Just Dance Vance, over Gavin Newsom's social media post. Let's play this clip.
Stop sounding like crazy people. That really is all it is. I mean, this idea that Gavin Newsom is somehow going to mimic Donald Trump's style, I think that ignores the fundamental genius of President Trump's political success, which is that he's authentic. He just is who he is. You've got to be yourself. You've actually got to talk to people honestly about the issues. I don't think it's that complicated. Don't be a crazy person. Be authentic. If the Democrats did that, they'd do a hell of a lot better.
Just weird kind of erotic fan fiction about Donald Trump from these MAGAs. Kellyanne Conway's like, ooh, Donald, he has the swagger. Look at him. Look how muscular and his swagger. It's like, y'all are really weird. Y'all are a bunch of freaking weird humans. I mean, this MAGA cult has perverted our politics literally, figuratively. You're covering up the Epstein files. You're literally helping convicted sex traffickers like Elaine Maxwell. Y'all are a bunch of sick humans. And Donald Trump's been found liable for sexual assault. Sick human beings. Here, play this clip.
For every other issue set going back and forth between the two parties in terms of who has an advantage, the one the Democrats owned for a very long time was sort of the culture and technology and the cool. This is the guy with swagger. He's right there. He's having a blast. He's now doing in the Rose Garden what he does in Mar-a-Lago. Any of us who have dinner with him witness that. He plays the music. He plays it loudly. People love it. And who's going to complain? His neighbors are Scott Bessent at Treasury. Right. The neighbors aren't going to complain about the music coming out of the house. What he's done in the Rose Garden is the ultimate get off my lawn to the left.
Then they bring in one of Donald Trump's lawyers, Lindsay Halligan, who now is apparently a special assistant to Donald Trump. She was one of Trump's former lawyers. She talks about how Donald Trump's going to get rid of all of the Smithsonian museums because the museums say that slavery is bad and we need to talk about the good side of it, apparently. What? Here, play this clip.
So here's what the internal review of the Smithsonian exhibitions will entail. Public-facing content will be examined, as well as the curatorial process, exhibition planning, collection use, and narrative standards. So what is the practical application of all of that?
Well, so what we're going to do, in the letter we requested basically an audit for the first time ever of the Smithsonian. We want to see how these placards in these museums have become, written in such a ideological fashion. And we also want to see how the exhibits are voted on and how they become really what the public sees. The Smithsonian has 17 to 20 million visitors a year. We need it to represent our country in a positive way. We're approaching America's 250th wonderful birthday, and we want the Smithsonian to represent really what our country was founded upon: grit, resilience, perseverance. And our goal is for ideology to go, but knowledge and trust to remain.
And at least just to kind of have a cleanse here, you have Jessica Tarlov, our friend here. She just spits the facts about our economy right now. Let's play it.
The American public today, or what they're feeling about the economy.
Is this another poll?
No, it's not actually.
Please,
it's
Jessica.
headlines.
Oh my God.
Headlines.
In wake of Trump tariffs, John Deere announces mass layoffs. PepsiCo will increase carbonated soft drink concentrate prices by 10%. Sony is raising PS5 prices in the U.S. by $50 across all models, and electric bills are up 10% so far this year. The election, you can say it was about whatever you want, it was about cost of living. That's what it came down to. People said inflation hadn't come down enough. Joe Biden doesn't feel my pain. I don't want to hear about Bidenomics.
What's the inflation?
Donald Trump has not.
Kamala was the nominee, by the way.
But it
Kamala
was. No, I'm well aware of how the
she was a
election went, but it was about the Biden administration.
I was worried you were going to say that Diet Coke was going up in price, and then
no,
when
just
that happens, you better call me.
Well, Coke actually did say that they were going to be raising prices.
Oh my gosh, I'll have to drink water.
Well, it's that Coke, Dana, so don't worry.
Oh, good. Okay.
Well, there you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers.
New Meidas merch. Head to store.MeidasTouch.com today and get yourself the best pro-democracy gear and show your support. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.